Alright, I wanted to do something a bit different this week. I've always been interested in ranking videos. I enjoy watching them. I've always wanted to do one, but after I started this channel, there's just been so many releases that I just haven't been able to find the time in between series and movie releases to do one. Now I kind of have a break between things that are coming out to where I can actually sit down and knock one out. So today I wanted to do a ranking of live-action Batman projects. With the conclusion of The Penguin, I thought this would be a cool time to kind of put this out. But I want to just go through three kind of caveats I have, three rules really about this video. So number one, I'm only including movies and TV shows that I've seen. So I've never seen the original Adam West Batman movie, and I have never seen the Batwoman series, even though I've heard it's complete trash. You know, I'm never going to watch it. Maybe sometime I'll get around to watching the Adam West Batman one. I'm not really into campy stuff, and I know that that is very, very campy, so we'll see, maybe in the future. Number two, this is only going to be a ranking of things that are central to Gotham and Batman. Things that only encompass that character and his allies, his city, and his villains. So there's going to be no team-ups, no Justice League, no Batman v Superman, things like that. So these are just specifically Batman projects. And number three, only live action stuff. So we're not going to be doing Lego Batman, even though I love that movie. I think Lego Batman's great. It's hilarious. But just live action stuff. So anyway, I'm excited about this, so let's get into it. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and if you're new, check out the rest of the channel. Let me know what you think. I appreciate all the support, and come back if you like it. So let's get into this. Let's rank some Batman. Alright, coming in last place at number 9 is Batman and Robin. This movie is trash. Look, this movie came out when I was a kid. I was probably like, what did this come out in, like 96, 97, maybe earlier? Anyway, the first time I saw this movie, I was like 5 years old. I fucking loved it, okay? But I was 5. I just loved it because George Clooney was in it. Arnold Schwarzenegger was in it, and it was Batman. Okay, I grew up on the Batman animated series. I grew up on Batman comics. Batman's my favorite superhero ever. I love him, okay? But as I grew up, I realized how bad this movie is. It is so over the top campy, which like some people like campy stuff. That's fine. I'm not judging at all. Everyone likes whatever they like. It's not for me. I don't like campy things. I don't like that over-the-top ridiculousness of it. And God, this movie it botched Batman so hard. Like, there's so many good actors in this. George Clooney, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Uma Thurman. Like, what are we doing here? How did they mess this up? Like, I guess Uma Thurman's a decent part of this film. I kind of like the characterization of Poison Ivy, but she's kind of just like whatever. And then Bane, my God. Like, if you're familiar with the Batman comics, Bane is this uber intelligent, tactical villain who's just always like one step ahead of Batman. And the thing is, people think of Bane as just like this brawler that just, you know, the famous cover is when he breaks Batman's back. But like, he's not, that's just one aspect of that character. He's this super intelligent, just like organized, like I said, tactical villain that just, he's always got plans and schemes, and like he's always ahead of his competition. He's ridiculously intelligent, and he's just a bumbling idiot in this one. Some prisoner that just gets, you know, shot up with the venom, and then he just turns into this big bruiser that he doesn't talk, and he's just like, it's so far removed from what this character actually is. And then you got like poor George Clooney, dude. He can't live this movie down, but it was his choice. It was his choice, so it is what it is. just probably the worst Bruce Wayne and Batman on screen. It's just like none of this character screams Batman or Bruce Wayne, Chris O'Donnell, Alicia Silverstone. It's just whatever. I mean, they're Robin and Batgirl respectively, and I guess you could call them those characters. They don't really seem like it. And then Arnie is Mr. Freeze. Just terrible, dude. Just awful. Like, so over the top and just ridiculous. And you got Arnold playing Mr. Freeze. This guy in the comics is a scientist. He's this lonely scientist that lives in solitude trying to find a cure for his wife. And you get this famous ex-bodybuilder known for playing action stars to play this very complex and nuanced character. And granted, I think over time, like nowadays, Arnold's a good actor. He, like, maybe not back in the 80s and early 90s, but today Arnold has developed into a pretty good actor for what he is. But this is terrible. Oh, I despise this movie. I can't believe when I was a kid that I loved it. Like, this was the Batman that I watched most as a kid, and I don't know why. And god damn it, those bat suits with the nipples and just too much. It's bad. It's bad. Let's move on to the next one. All right, at number 8, we got Batman Returns. All right, these next two are definitely going to piss some people off. I am not a Tim Burton guy. I've never really liked Tim Burton. His style just doesn't jive with me. I like a couple of his movies. I think Big Fish is great. Sleepy Hollow was okay. I thought Sweeney Todd was fun. I know a lot of people that are Burton fans don't really like that movie, which I think is surprising because I think that movie is probably one of his better ones. Anyway, I'm going off on a Burton tangent. Yeah, I don't like the styles of these movies. I think what Burton did good was get the dark gothic aspect of Gotham and Batman right. But at the same time, I think Batman Returns and Batman 1989, they just have too much of a look of being filmed inside of a studio. Which I know at the time that was, shooting on location wasn't as big as it is now. I get that. It's just the atmosphere of these movies feels so claustrophobic because you can tell that a lot of the scenes that take place outside in Gotham City are inside of a studio. And I don't fault this movie too much because of the area that it was produced in. But when you look at the Batman from a couple of years back, you still get that gritty, gothic Gotham feel, and it feels like a very real, tangible environment in that entire film. And that's something that's, I think, sorely missing from Batman Returns and Batman 1989. So yeah, unfortunately, I have to put Batman Returns at number 6, second to last on this list. This movie's not terrible. Like, Batman and Robin is unequivocally a terrible movie. Batman Returns has some good things going for it. I mean, I don't think Michael Keaton's the best Batman. I don't think he's the best Bruce Wayne, but he is an entertaining one. He does a great job with what he was given. He's iconic for this role, and I respect that. He may not be my favorite, but I do enjoy him in the film. DeVito's Penguin is not for me. It's kind of funny because now looking like I'm a huge Always Sunny in Philadelphia fan, and now when I watch DeVito in that, it's just like he's playing the same character pretty much. I like a lot of stuff he does is Frank. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, this is like the Penguin all over again. He's gross, I think overly gross. Having him just have like penguin minions, and like they just dove very heavily into the whole penguin shtick, and that's just like not the Penguin I want, and it's not the Penguin I enjoy. Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman is great. I think she's awesome. I think she's probably the best live action Catwoman we've gotten. So, well, shit, I forgot about Zoe Kravitz. Zoe Kravitz is pretty good. They go neck and neck, though. I think she does a great job with this film. And but I'm just not that into it. It's not for me, okay? That's all I gotta say. These Burton films, they're not for me. Like I said, some people are gonna be pissed. Coming in at number 7 is Batman 1989. Listen, I fully understand the importance of this film and what it did for superhero movies. This pretty much kicked off the superhero movie genre, which I am thankful for. I love comics. I love superhero movies. I'm glad that these are still going today. And this movie is responsible for initiating that era. It's also one of the very first takes, if not the first, serious takes of a superhero in live action. Like before this, we had Adam West Batman, just so campy, over the top. The old Superman black and white movies, same thing. This was a darker take on a superhero character that was geared more towards adults. They played it serious, they played it dark, they played it twisted, and I appreciate all of those aspects. Here's what I will say though. Sort of in the same vein as the first Iron Man movie, I don't agree with rating a film high just because of its importance to a genre or a franchise. I try to judge the movie based on its qualities and its individual qualities alone. I love the first Iron Man. I think it's great. I think sometimes it gets overrated because it kicked off the MCU. And I think that is the same with the Batman 1989. I think sometimes people hype this movie up so much just because of the cultural revolution of superhero films that it began. That being said, there are good things about this movie. Like I said, I enjoy Keaton as Batman. I don't think he's the best. I don't think he entirely embodies this character or fits the character of Bruce Wayne and or Batman, but I enjoy his performance. He's a fantastic actor. He does great with what he's given. I think Jack Nicholson is phenomenal as the Joker. Probably my second favorite live-action Joker. I just don't think you can beat Ledger. I'm sorry. My dad thinks Jack Nicholson's the best because he's the original. Not really in an argument. You can't just say something's better because it's the first one. That doesn't make any sense. Things can be better in the second, third iteration. He's great though. He's fantastic. He plays his character phenomenally. He's able to just bounce from one end of the spectrum to another. He's jokey, he's playful, he's serious, he's devious. I mean, it's Jack Nicholson, dude. The dude can do anything. He can embody any character, he can embody any personality, and he shows that all in this character. It's great. But again, one of the biggest complaints I have, just like Batman Returns, is like, you can tell all of this was filmed inside of a studio. None of it feels real, none of it feels tangible. And it's just got that Burton aesthetic to it, which I don't love. I'm not a Burton fan. But otherwise, I think it's a fun movie. I don't love it. Coming in at number 6 is Batman Forever. This was kind of a toss-up with Batman 1989. Honestly, I think these two can just swap spots if they need to. Neither of them hold a soft spot in my heart, so it doesn't really matter to me. But I put it here at number 6. I think you can say objectively that Val Kilmer of these first 4 Batman films is the best actor to play this role. I love Val Kilmer. It's a shame that we don't really get to see him act anymore and he can't really talk. It was great seeing him pop up in Maverick. I mean, I thought that was really cool, but it sucks, man. Val Kilmer's just such a talented actor, and I just feel like he had a whole career ahead of him. But I think he's pretty good as Bruce Wayne. He sort of plays the tortured soul very well. You can tell he's this broken man, just, devoid of happiness, just on a mission to save Gotham. Batman, I don't know. He's fine. Kind of like Keaton. They're fine as Batman, I guess. I don't think either of these actors really fit this role entirely. but they're enjoyable. I enjoy their performances nonetheless. Robin was a cool addition. I didn't love it. The origin story was okay. Chris O'Donnell's just like a whatever actor, I guess. I mean, he's in NCIS New Orleans or some shit nowadays. So, yeah, his career really took off from this. Let's see, the villains. I love... Tommy Lee Jones is one of my favorite actors of all time, but this is garbage as Two-Face. It's just the Joker. He's just doing Jack Nicholson's Joker. Like, there's no difference. He's just got different makeup on. He's flipping a coin. It's not Harvey Dent. It's not Two-Face. The idea, like, Harvey Dent, in a lot of the iterations, he doesn't enjoy being Two-Face. It's the cards he was dealt, and he just rolls with the punches. This Two-Face, it looks like he loves every second of being a criminal, and just think about the Dark Knight, Harvey Dent in that. He's just this broken man, like, just out of options, just trying to get revenge on the people who destroyed him, pretty much. You don't get that in this at all. It's just not Two-Face. It's just the Joker. That's all it is. They just wanted to bring the Joker back, but somebody said no, and they were like, all right, well, fuck it. We'll just do Two-Face and do Tommy Lee Jones. He gives it his all, I guess, but it's not Two-Face. Look, say what you want about Jim Carrey's Riddler. I enjoy him. I think he's hilarious. He's over the top, sure, but I think he's one of the better parts of this movie. This movie that's not very good. I don't know. Like I said, you can toss this one up with Batman 1989. 89's probably a better movie. I just think this one's more entertaining. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I have to say about it. At number 5, The Dark Knight Rises. It kind of pains me to put this one this low because I love Christopher Nolan so much. And this movie's not bad. I mean, I guess it is top 5, so that's cool, but this movie compared to the first 2 Nolan Batman films is just, I don't know. There's a significant drop off. Like, I think there are parts of this movie that are done very, very well. Of course, Bane besting Batman, breaking his back and just demolishing him is great. Christian Bale, I love Christian Bale as his character. I know some people don't. That's fine. Tom Hardy was great as Bane, I think. It's definitely more in the vein of comics Bane than it ever has been, which is awesome. We finally got like a proper Bane, which is fantastic. He's brutal, he's bruising, he's intelligent. He plans out this whole elaborate takeover of Gotham. He's great. I think Anne Hathaway as Catwoman is fine. She's not the best Catwoman. She's not the worst. She's somewhere right in the middle. I like her suit. I think her action scenes are cool. She's just, she's whatever. You get Morgan Freeman and Michael Caine back, who are amazing. Obviously, I love them both in their respective roles. And Gary Oldman as Jim Gordon. He's phenomenal. The twist of Talia, like, everybody saw it coming a mile away, and it's not great. And that death scene, what the fuck was that? She just, like, it looks like when your kid is, like, playing some sort of, like they're doing an imaginary game, and they're, like, playing, like, whatever, and they pretend to die, like, on your carpet. And it's just, that's what it looks like. It looks like this was a practice take that they were just kind of running lines, and then for whatever reason it got left in the film. It is bad. I think the third act of this movie is really cool. This movie's tough because, like, Batman goes into, I don't want to say retirement. I mean, initially he does go into retirement. Batman is gone and then comes back twice in the same film. It's weird. Like, I don't believe that Batman should have been out of retirement to start this film. I think he still should have been this very divisive figure in this city that the police were after. He kind of works on his own. He's still, goes after criminals, but he's not allied with the Gotham PD anymore. He has to do things very much alone. And then maybe from there you take him to confront Bane, and he's just so withered from years of fighting crime that Bane quickly just dismantles him, like he does. And then you have him redeem himself, climb out of the pit, and come back and give his all to save Gotham. But it's just weird that he's gone and then comes back twice. Like, you have this climactic return twice in the same film. It's odd. It's an odd way to structure a plot. Yeah. And the plot in this movie is kind of convoluted. Some of the stuff doesn't really make a ton of sense. I think at some points, you know, this Nolan universe is very contained within this city. Both of the first two stories, they're very contained. It's Gotham. This movie towards the finale, which is an aspect of the finale I did not enjoy, is it just kind of gets too big for its own shoes. It tries to encompass the whole world, sort of, by bringing in, you know, the president, the federal government. The whole world is watching this city get torn apart. I don't know. I think that was just too expansive for what this universe was and how Nolan established this character in his setting. I enjoy Batman, even though it doesn't make a lot of sense. I enjoy him faking his death and then ending up with Selina at the end. Again, it doesn't make a lot of sense how that happened, but seeing him and Alfred lock eyes with each other and Alfred finally knowing that he was okay, it was a great send-off. I don't love Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character. I'm not a huge fan. You know, Christopher Nolan said he didn't want to do Robin. He's not doing Robin. And then he kind of pseudo did Robin, but in a non-committal, you know, it's just lazy. I don't like it. And then the whole like, oh, you should go by your first name, Robin. I love that name. Stupid. Just stupid. Just make his name Dick Grayson or change his backstory. Don't do that. That's corny. It's lame. And then he's going to take over for Bruce. This guy is a GCPD cop. He was an orphan. He has no training whatsoever to be Batman. Batman is a martial artist. This dude trained with ninjas in the first movie in Tibet. Like, what are we doing? This guy's going to be way in over his head. I don't understand what we're going at here. Anyway, this movie's fun. It's enjoyable, but the quality of the writing and the structure of the narrative just isn't up to par with what we got in Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. Number 4, The Penguin. I loved this series. Loved it. I was very skeptical going in. I'm not a huge fan of these villain-centric projects. I'm not opposed to them. It's just, you know, in terms of live action, they've never been done particularly well. I mean, just look at the Spider-Man ones. They're awful. None of them are good. Venom, Morbius, Madam Web, they're all just B-movie schlock. None of them are good. But this show, this is how you craft a narrative with a very interesting and compelling and nuanced villain that you enjoy watching, even if he is a terrible, terrible person. There are revelations in this show, especially towards the end, that make you hate this guy, but you still want to watch him succeed for some reason, and that's how they get you. I don't want to spoil too much in this video in case someone who hasn't finished it accidentally clicks on this, or clicks on it assuming there won't be spoilers, so I don't want to spoil too much. You can find videos for every episode on my channel, spoiler reviews for those. The last one I just posted today wraps up the finale, and it just kind of gives my final thoughts on the series as a whole. But I think it's great. It was fantastic. It captures the just dark, gritty aesthetic of Gotham and extends it from the Batman, which, I mean, this is the best live action Gotham we've gotten, I think. And Colin Farrell as this character is amazing. Halfway through the series, a lot of times throughout the series, you forget you're watching Colin Farrell. He just fucking disappears. You're just like, oh shit, yeah, that is Colin Farrell. You can never tell, and he's amazing at it. Kristen Milioti is fantastic as Sophia Falcone. Kind of, not really the villain. Everyone in this series is a villain, but sort of the antagonist to Oz. She's great. She's twisted. She's devious. She's intelligent. She's a great villain to this person who is also a twisted villain. Oz's character is awesome. He's just one of those criminals that, like, he's constantly getting caught up in precarious situations, and somehow he slithers his way out every single time. He's always plotting and scheming, and half the time they don't even work, but he thinks on the fly, and it's interesting to watch him do that. Renzi Feliz, who was an unknown actor to me before this show started, he plays Vic, who is sort of Oz's sidekick, right-hand man in this series, and he is fantastic. He's this character that Oz connects with because they both have these physical ailments, and he sees a lot of himself in Vic. And their relationship, as it grows throughout the season, it's just great to watch. It's fantastic. All the other characters and the actors in this show is great. The series is so well written. It's so dark. It's a phenomenal crime mafia drama, and I cannot recommend it enough. And it's cool to see something like this in a Batman universe. We've never really gotten it before. So if they want to keep making these, if Matt Reeves wants to keep doing these and they're of this quality, I would not be opposed to it. So at number 4 is The Penguin. It's great. You should check it out. All right, number 3, Batman Begins. I'm going to be honest, these last 3 were very hard for me to rank. Well, number 1 wasn't, but these number 2 and number 3 spots, they were difficult for me to rank. I think all 3 of these movies are incredible. So, number 3, we have Batman Begins. What Nolan did with this character, this universe in live action, it was just a feat of greatness. He saw what Burton did in the 90s, and I think, everyone respects that. Like I said in this video, what Burton did to kick off superhero movie genre was important. I think Nolan took that. He took his outline for Batman, this dark, gritty tale, and he utilized that, and he made a movie that's not only that, but it's also moving. It's emotional. It's something we haven't seen in live action from this character before. You get attached to Bruce, you get attached to Alfred, you get attached to these characters, and you feel something watching these movies. It's not just a movie, it's a story. And it's a story that you can connect with. And just seeing Batman's origin, how he became the way he is, how he learned his skills as a fighter, it's great. Liam Neeson being his mentor turned villain as Ra's al Ghul was fantastic. Their confrontation at the end on the train is amazing. It's so much fun to watch. Gary Oldman as Gordon was a revelation. You could have cast, I guess, anybody in that role, but like Gary Oldman, he's one of the greatest actors working today, and he does a lot with that character who's just essentially a police captain. Michael Caine as Alfred, God, amazing. There's so many emotional moments in this movie with Alfred and Batman, like tear-jerking moments that are just incredible, especially like in the third act when Ra's al Ghul lights the mansion on fire, and him and Alfred drop down in the elevator, and he repeats that quote from his father, like, "Why do we fall?" And Bruce is like, "Man, you never give up on me." And he's like, "Never. I never will, bitch." And it's just like, it's incredible. It's great. Nolan writes these characters for this universe so well, and his take on this character in this universe they're just amazing. I think all around, it's a great origin story in live action for this character. The supporting cast is fantastic. I cannot believe you got Neeson, Caine, and Freeman all to agree to this, plus Christian Bale. Christian Bale is one of the greatest actors of our time. I think that's undeniable. I know some people have problems with him as Batman and Bruce. Granted, I think his Bruce is better than his Batman. I know the voice is silly sometimes, but I understand what Nolan was going for. I will say, I don't love the suit in this one. It's too bulky and just hindering, which, again, that's why they changed it in The Dark Knight. And I think there are problems with The style of hand-to-hand combat that Nolan chose for this character in this universe, it looks kind of weird sometimes. It's not very well choreographed. I think Batman Begins is the best version of this character in his combat mode. I think he does a lot of stealthy stuff in this movie, a lot of swinging about, a lot of him being shrouded in darkness, which is the best part of this character in his hero form. The Batcave is cool. I like how it's an actual cave. It's great. And yeah, it's just an all-around, it's a very good origin story for this character, and I enjoy it a lot. The Batman, coming in at number 2. I was so excited for this movie when it was announced. I love Matt Reeves. I think Cloverfield is probably the best found footage film ever made. It's so enjoyable. And what he did with the 2 follow-ups to Rise of the Planet of the Apes was great. Those movies are phenomenal. Everyone should check them out if they haven't seen them. So getting him, teaming up with Robert Pattinson, who's probably one of the most underrated actors of his generation. I know he's been in some silly garbage, but he's amazing. Paul Dano, one of the best character actors of his generation. Jeffrey Wright as Gordon, just incredible. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, amazing. She's probably tied for the best, if not the best, Catwoman in live action that's ever been put to screen. She's great. She just looks the character, her build, her flexibility, the way she moves, her action sequences with Batman and Falcone. They're just like, she looks like Catwoman. This is Catwoman. The same with Pattinson as Batman. I love Pattinson. He's a fantastic actor. I wasn't sure how he'd do as Bruce Wayne in Batman. I don't love his version of Bruce Wayne, this kind of gothic, depressed looking Bruce Wayne. I understand what Reeves is going for, and I know Reeves has said that this character will evolve into the Bruce Wayne, the playboy who puts on this facade that we all know and understand. Like, I hope it does. I think Pattinson can pull that off as well. In the suit, though, amazing. He just, in the suit, is incredible. Pattinson in that suit is just phenomenal. This big, just, he's got like this look of like this lethal bruiser, but then he like moves so quickly and he's so agile as Batman, and this is the Batman on screen I've been wanting to see for so long. Like this Gotham, oh, it's so tangible, so real. It feels, Gotham in this movie feels like a living, breathing character. It feels like part of the cast. This is something we've never gotten in live action before. When I went into this movie, the easiest comparison I can make is when I was watching this film in the theaters, it felt like I was playing one of the Gotham video games. That's how it felt. You have this tangible, real setting of Gotham, and it looks like Gotham, it feels like Gotham. Everything about it just screams Gotham. I don't know how Reeves did it, but he did it. He made Gotham a real, tangible, living place. And I was so happy about that. In this movie, like, the story's great. I love this take on the Riddler, this sort of like lonely, just solemn, conspiratorial character that hides behind a screen and is mad at the world. And so he decides to cook up a plan to get back at the government, get back at corruption. It's a character design that fits well with the world we live in today. It's very relatable to a lot of people, I'm sure, and it just echoes the sentiment of some people, especially living in America at this time, which is also kind of scary because it seems like a real, tangible villain. The plan he concocts to bring Batman to the forefront, and it kind of, the plot kind of involves Bruce's parents in this whole elaborate cover-up with Bruce's father and Falcone. And it's a good way to make this plot personal to Batman, I think. And the climax is fantastic. Batman flying about in the rafters above the arena, taking out Riddler's men. You know a villain is good when they're able to unfold their plan from behind bars. Like at the point of the climax, Riddler is already in Arkham, you know. His plan is unfolding without him because these people are inspired by him. And I love the finale. And Selina bringing Batman from the brink of like murder was great. I mean, he's about to full on kill a guy and she stops him. This movie's great. I mean, it's great. And I think it's a worthy follow-up. It's a worthy second place to what's coming in first. And I can't believe I almost forgot Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis as Alfred is incredible. I like getting a younger version of Alfred. A lot of the comic history of Alfred, you know, he's kind of he's this ex-military guy from the UK. You kind of get that with Michael Caine in the Dark Knight trilogy. I mean, there's a couple hints to his past, working as, you know, hired soldier pretty much. A couple pieces we get. But I like that this Alfred is responsible for kind of showing this Bruce the ropes, training him, things like that. I think a younger version of Alfred is good. It can be interesting. Andy Serkis, dude, I can't go on enough about how good of an actor he is. This guy should have won like 10 Oscars so far. I get he's not in many prominent live action roles that are like leading men or big supporting roles, but what he has done as Caesar in the Planet of the Apes films, as Gollum in Lord of the Rings trilogy, how does this guy not have an Oscar? Like, what other actors are going to get down in the mud, dress up in these ridiculous outfits, and play an ape? And play an ape successfully? Like, what are we doing here? Give this guy an award, for God's sake. But Matt Reeves, the Batman, amazing. Number 2. This movie is not only my favorite Batman movie or TV series of all time, it is my favorite movie ever. I love The Dark Knight. It's incredible. I still think it's incredible. I rewatch it probably twice a year. Christopher Nolan's my favorite director of all time. Christian Bale's one of my favorite actors of all time. This movie, it pushed the boundaries on what comic book movies were allowed to be. There are films that revolutionize specific genres in different eras. Batman 89 made superhero movies relevant. The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies elevated that, as well as the X-Men movies. They both the first X-Men, they came out around the same time. Those movies made it so comic book movies were allowed to be more serious. They didn't have to be over the top. They could be these serious, grounded, emotional films. The Dark Knight did something different. This, through and through, is a crime thriller. It's a mafia movie, sort of. Enveloped by the superhero genre. I could talk for this movie for hours on end. I love it that much. The cast is great. The returning cast, great. You know, you get Oldman, Freeman, Kane back. Heath Ledger's the Joker. One of the best roles ever put to screen. I mean, you don't see Heath. It's a lot like Colin Farrell's the Penguin. You don't see Heath Ledger. All you see is the Joker. He's maniacal. He's skeevy. He's dangerous. He's lethal. He's creepy. He's everything, man. He tears Gotham apart while barely lifting a finger. He really is the ultimate foil to not only Batman, but this Batman in this universe. He brings him to the brink of collapse, and it's enjoyable to watch. I think this is the best Christian Bale is as this character. You see him go through a wide range of emotions in this film. Aaron Eckhart was a great addition. I don't really know what's happened to his career. I think he is a talented actor. I just think he chooses bad movies and bad roles. But he was a revelation as Harvey Dent in Two-Face. Going into this movie, I remember I didn't really know how they were going to... I knew Harvey Dent was going to be in it. But at the time when this came out, like, it was 2008, right? I was a freshman in high school. Social media was a thing, but you don't get all the spoilers that you get now, like through Reddit and 4chan and things like that. So I don't really remember if anyone knew if they were going to go full on Two-Face in this movie, but I remember being shocked in the theater. I was like, whoa, they're doing this. And the way they did it was cool. I think having him be scarred and just destroyed by the Joker's trap that Batman tried to save him from was a cool and interesting take. You know, he gets half of his face and body burned off, and he becomes this character seeking vengeance on those that took his love from him and took his life from him. And it was a cool addition to the back end of this movie. I don't know if I love them killing off Two-Face. I think it would have been cool for them to bring him back. But his storyline is very, very compelling, along with the Joker's. I like this. One of the reasons I love this version of the Joker is because he's anybody. He can be any. Like, he switches his backstory. He switches who he is like 10 times throughout this movie. I've always liked the Joker being a nobody. You don't know who he is. You don't know his origin. He can be whatever he wants to be. I've always enjoyed that about this character. I don't like when they try to give him an origin. That's why I wasn't a fan of... And I know, like, Todd Phillips is stepping back on, this isn't actually the Joker. Yeah, whatever. Shut up, dude. Like, I'm sure when you planned that first movie, it was originally the Joker, and then you changed your mind halfway through. Whatever, dude. Like, I don't like the Joker having an origin. It's not for me. This Joker is the perfect Joker. The twists in this movie are phenomenal. They think they have the Joker, and the Joker has them. His plan with Harvey at the end that no one sees coming, fantastic. The last 5 minutes of this movie, man. Movies mean a lot to me. There are movies throughout my life that they resonate with me for different reasons. The Empire Strikes Back is one of my favorite movies because, one, it's great. Two, it's one of the movies I remember... One of the first movies I remember being introduced to as a kid. It is why I fell in love with movies. The Dark Knight, this was the first time in theaters that I remember having chills. The last couple minutes of this film, when Batman rides off into the night as the Gotham police chase him, and Gary Oldman gives his monologue over the top, that super compelling emotional monologue about Batman being the hero that Gotham deserves. Every time I rewatch that scene, it gives me chills. And like this movie, I remember being in the theater, and when the credits hit after Gary Oldman finished his monologue, I was like, holy fuck, what did I just watch? It was amazing. And I think having a director and a writer to the caliber of Christopher Nolan take on one of these genre films, like, not only did it just rocket superhero films into the stratosphere, but it opened the doors for very good writers and very good directors to not be afraid of doing movies like this. I think for a long time, superhero movies had this shtick where it's just like, well, why would you do that? Those are goofy movies. Like, no self-respecting director would do that. And then when Nolan did it, when Nolan took on Batman Begins and Dark Knight and this whole trilogy, directors started to see, like, wow, you can make these movies and you can make them very, very good. And this movie, not only did it not win an Oscar, it also did not get nominated. And I don't want to get started on this. I despise these stupid award ceremonies. I think they're all dumb. I think the whole concept of them is dumb. But if you're going to do it, and you're not going to give respect to probably the most compelling, highest grossing, one of the highest rated movies of that year, you're not even going to nominate it because it's a superhero movie. The Oscars literally the next year had to change their format to allow for movies like this to get in, which is insane to think about. This was the best movie of 2008. I don't care what anybody says. Like, you're not going to change my mind. It 100%, hands down, objectively was the best movie of 2008. And it's a travesty that it did not win or even get nominated for an award. This movie is fantastic. I highly recommend it for anyone to check it out. This, in my opinion, is the best Batman show or movie that has ever been made. And I love it. And you know what? I'll be honest. When I saw The Batman, I thought it might overtake my first place spot, but it just can't. This movie means so much to me. I love it. And there it is. That's my ranking for the Batman live action shows and movies. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more, subscribe to the channel and go check out the rest of my videos. I'm hoping to do more of these ranking videos going forward. So yeah, we'll see. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for checking it out.